Nope.
Oh my gosh, look at how just so messy. It's so messy behind me.
This is
Hi, everybody.
live.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, guys.
Oh, man, we are so incredibly excited to chat and to talk about middle grade books and to get everybody pumped up for middle grade March.
Are we all wearing our middle grade March swag?
Yeah, we are.
Of course we are.
Why wouldn't we be?
I love it.
I wasn't wearing it earlier today, and I was like, I gotta put it on for the live.
Yeah, I love it.
I forgot to grab a notebook. Somebody else said they had their book journal sitting next to them, and I was like,
so
I
smart.
forgot to grab a notebook.
I filmed my TBR today.
Man, I haven't even made my TBR yet. I was waiting for this video because I know there's going to be so many good recommendations.
I know. Are you going to write them all down, Amanda?
I mean, I'm going to write down the ones that I want to read.
That's smart. Maybe I should do that too.
Well, I should do that too. Do I have a notebook? I don't know if I have a notebook.
I don't know if I have the capacity to write down all of them. That's what the comments, rewatch it and go through comments.
A notebook? The one that you wrote the books in the other day? My mama.
My Krista's mom. I forget what
right back. I'm gonna go get some pens.
The page I wrote. Oh yeah, but I want that page too. Just let me use it for now. I just wrote blank random. That's okay.
Hi, Krista's mom.
Yeah, say hi. My mom is here, everybody.
I just had to mop the floor and do the dishes. I have to tell him the milk earlier.
Krista has been saying for a while that she needs to hire a house cleaner, so I'm so glad that she did. Great price too.
Oh, geez. I also wanted to say, and I'm going to put the link in the comments. I'm going to open up Discord, guys. We started last year a Discord, which is just another server to chat throughout the month. Well, even now before the month happens. It's updating. It's another great place to write out recommendations. There's a little channel or like a folder, whatever you call it. I think it's called a channel on Discord for each of the different prompts for the year. So it's a great place if you're stuck, which hopefully after this conversation, you won't be stuck anymore. But
hopefully you'll be inundated.
Yes. But that'll be a good place to share kind of what you're reading for each of the prompts and talk with other people and connect with other middle grade readers. So it's still loading on my computer. Oh, why are you big? Go small. But I'm going to grab the invitation so that I can put it in the comments real quick.
How do we see it? Have people been commenting? How do I see comments?
On the side, there's private chat and comments.
Okay. All right. Yes, I see it.
So this link, it says that, okay, hold on. Copy. Good. It says that the link is never going to expire, but we all know that is not always true.
The internet lies.
So if you're interested in joining the Discord for Middle Grade March, there's the link. Copy and paste or click on it. I don't know how it works, but and there's already people in there chatting about what they're going to be reading and stuff. Mm-hmm. So very excited. Very excited. So our plans for the night are just to talk books with you guys. We're just going to go through each of the 5 different prompts and share books that we've read. I'm not at all going to talk about my TBR ones, but I might have a couple others that I haven't read yet. But for the most part, I'm sharing mostly all ones that I've read.
I'm not necessarily.
Okay. I mean, I have a mix of most of them I've read, but not all of them. And some of the ones
I have a stack. Sorry, go ahead, Amanda.
No, you're fine. I was going to say some of the ones I'm mentioning tonight might be on my TBR.
Ooh.
See, I'm avoiding the ones on my TBR, but I have ones I haven't read.
So far, I'm surrounded by books that I have read, so I think I'll try to stick to those ones.
That's amazing. See, you have read because you read 30 books a month during the whole month. Like, that's amazing. You and Amanda both have a plethora. Like, I'm a much slower reader compared to you two, so my list is A mix of ones I've read and a lot that I haven't.
That's okay, because you still have really good recommendations. As I was filming my TBR video earlier today, I was like, Amanda recommended this one to me. Katie told me about this one. So I definitely got ideas from both of you for books that I'm going to be reading this year. So hopefully, and in the comments too, you guys, please, if you have more ideas, or if some if you put a book that fits one of the prompts, please feel free to share. Yeah, yes, my mom's name is Sue.
No, her mom's name is just Krista's mom.
Name is Mom.
Just Mom.
We will be sure.
Kim, the Anne of Green Gables do probably fit the prompt of a book published in a year before you were born. So
yeah, for sure. Orphan main character.
And Orphan main character.
So double doozy. All right. So should we just jump right in? Because I have a feeling we could be here for a while.
I know. My husband was like, how late are you going to be tonight? I'm like, who knows?
Who knows?
We can't tell it until we're done.
Who knows?
We don't have a cutoff point. So, but I definitely want you guys in the comments to also add your input.
I do too. If you guys have recommendations, speak up or type up.
Type up, speak up.
Type up.
Which one should we start with, Katie? I'm gonna have you pick one to start with.
Which prompt should we start with?
Yeah, we're just diving right in. Let's go.
Okay, I think we should just start with the first prompt, which is Orphan main character.
Sure. All right.
Yeah? Okay. Do you want me to start off?
This one, I actually had a hard time with this one. This one is my smallest stack.
Me too. Honestly, this is my smallest stack.
I was like, oh, that's easy. There's so many of them. And then when I went and looked at my shelves, I'm like, wait a minute. But
okay.
Not.
It's also the hardest one because you don't necessarily know by the title.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
The other ones you can tell from the title, and this one, it's just you have to do a little bit more work. You have to read some summaries and stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I can start. So a book that I've read several times, I read this when I was a kid and loved it. And then I reread it during, I think, maybe one of the first middle grade marches. And that's Mandy by Julie Andrews Edwards. This is about
the Sound of Music fame.
Yes, it's the same. It's like Julie Andrews Edwards being like the Julie Andrews. Yeah,
and Mandy was my nickname growing up. That's what my family still calls me to this day. So I feel like I should probably add that to my list.
It's a very sweet story about an orphan.
Yeah, it
who
is.
Like makes a house and garden her own. It's lovely, lovely writing. It's a quiet book. Would you call it a quiet book, Krista? I would call it a quiet book.
It's not very fast paced or like action packed, but it's definitely delightful.
Very delightful. Delightful.
Someone earlier said they want a book that's going to bring them joy. Yes. So this would be one that is it's just very sweet.
It is. It's very sweet.
In the comments, a couple of people have mentioned Orphans of the Tide. I have never heard of this before. Have either of you two heard of this?
Yeah, no. It was on my anticipated reads for last year. I haven't read it yet though. So it just came out in 2021.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's kind of like I almost want to say like a dystopian type of world. The world is different, but this girl lives on this island and then these kids get washed ashore. And she didn't think there was life outside of her island.
Oh.
I think if that's the same one that I'm thinking of. Oh yeah, Orphan Island. I forgot about that.
Oh my goodness, there's so many good ones in the comments.
I know. Oh.
So I've already seen mentioned in the comments Secret Garden.
Yes.
Secret Garden. Lots of classics. Anne of Green Gables, Secret Garden. Heidi. Yep.
Little Princess. I think all of my...
Well, Little Princess, she's not technically an orphan, but she's in an orphanage.
Okay. Well,
right?
But I've also seen mentioned Sweep.
I know. I was also gonna recommend.
I think we all have on our list because we've all read it. I've read it a couple of times.
And I have one left. You guys have mentioned all the other ones.
But like this, if you have not read Sweep, read this one. Like it is so good.
It is. It's amazing. Wonderful.
It is so good. Oh, we got some We got some beef going on. Shalise is like,
Little-
the little princess is
an orphan. Okay.
Are other people listening to you?
Yeah, Mom.
I love your mom so much. She's so
You
cute.
guys hear what she said?
No,
Yeah.
She
She
said,
said, are there people listening to you?
yeah, and Debbie says hello. Debbie is a friend.
So this is another one I picked up for Orphan main character is Ballet Shoes. By Noel Streatfeild.
Noel Streatfeild, for sure.
So I just picked this up and I've never read it, but it's a classic. And
Noel Streatfeild is so wonderful.
I'm pretty sure it's like 1937. So if you're looking for one older than you, I would venture to say this is probably older than the majority of the people here. So that's one that I had.
Ballet Shoes is the one that Meg Ryan mentions in
yeah, that's why I picked it up. I picked it up on our trip at an indie bookstore because I'm like, I can't not get it from an indie bookstore, you know. Okay, what's your one that you have left, Krista?
This is not a sweet book at all. So a lot of the ones we've been saying are very like sweet and wholesome and fun. This one is a little more on the creepy, kind of scary side of things. It's The Night Gardener, and it's a sibling group of orphans, a brother and sister, go live with like an aunt and uncle or something. Somehow they're related. And there's like a mysterious gardener outside, and it's kind of creepy, but it's very good. This is the same author as Sweet. Yeah.
Yes, that prompts me to think of the Neil Gaiman book, The Graveyard Book.
Oh yeah.
Is that an
orphan main character in the Graveyard Book.
This is the other one I had, Counting by Sevens.
Oh, I didn't.
Holly Goldberg Sloan. This specifically on audiobook, the audio narrator for this is remarkably good. She just makes the story, like, just takes it to a whole new level. This is about like a girl, like think Sheldon Cooper from Big Bang Theory, just like very, very smart, very socially inept. And her parents die like right at the very beginning of the book. They get in a car accident. And so she is kind of thrown into a foster care situation. People are trying to figure out how to deal with her at school. But the narrator does a really, really good job of making the book, like the dialogue, sound like she would sound. So this was a really good one.
It's possible that's on my TBR. Yeah, I have it.
I've always wanted to read that one. I don't think I ever have. Oh yeah, Witch of Blackbird Pond. That's a great one.
Oh yeah.
Someone also mentioned Harry Potter Orphan.
Well, yeah.
I
feel like that's a throwaway.
Yeah. City of Spies series. I've heard that series is great, and I own the first book, and I had no idea that was about a group of orphans.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
No, either.
I saw him talk at that North Texas Teen Book Festival thing that was on YouTube last year.
Yeah.
He was one of the speakers. I heard him talk.
Boxcar Children.
There was another one that I was just thinking about, and it's I cannot remember. I was gonna say about Little Princess. Yes, I was thinking about the movie, and I always get the movie and the book confused in my head. So I'm sorry. The BFG. Yes, I forgot.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh, and of course, A Place to Hang the Moon.
That might be on my list for another one.
That's funny.
I have that one right here. If you also need a book with 5 words in the title, this was on my list for that one.
I love it.
I'm trying to think if there's any, like if I have any crossovers from my other ones. I don't think I do.
There's so many overlap possibilities. And
there's another one that I was going to mention, but I think I might mention it for one of the other ones.
Before we got started, someone was saying that these are, Amy, I think, was saying that these are good prompts for mood readers because there's so much scope. There's so many different types of books you could read within each prompt, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
So you can always find something. Veronica, you are not late. I mean, well, you're late, but you've only missed one prompt so far. We just are wrapping up the Orphan main character.
Should we do? Okay. Do we want to move on to 5 words, or do we have more orphans to think about?
Well, we can, if we think of something, we can always like throw it back in.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Let's do 5 words. I have so many.
Oh my
I have
goodness.
so
This
many
was
too.
my biggest stack. I gotta bring my stack over.
I only limited it to 5, but there are so many.
There are.
I was just sticking with ones that I've read, but then I just realized I didn't grab The War That Saved My Life. I didn't grab the.
That's the one that I'm holding up.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I didn't grab that either. I always
this is such a good one. This is such a good one.
That one would be like my pinned one. Like if you haven't read
Right.
The War That Saved My Life.
Even if you don't like historical fiction, even if you're like, ugh, World War II.
No, it's so good.
Go read this one. It is so worth it.
It's phenomenal. It's always the one that I recommend. It's also a one that I recommend to people who don't really like middle grade. If they don't like middle grade, I'm like, here, read this. It will change your mind.
Absolutely.
True.
Yep.
Someone just mentioned The Remarkable Journey of Coyote Sunrise.
Yep, that was on my list.
This is a fabulous book.
I have this one also would be a contemporary.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
That was on my contemporary pile. So I'll set that one to the side now. Oh man, I'm gonna end up with books falling everywhere.
Like what they're about.
Yeah, we haven't been.
That would.
We probably should.
Going out the other room. Sorry, my mom is here. She just started listening to it on her phone, but then it's like echoing back.
Well, we should. Should we go back to Orphans and talk about some of the plot of the ones we mentioned, and then move on?
Maybe. Well, you did for Mandy.
I did for Mandy.
I mean, the plot of an orphan book is a little bit like it's an orphan finding a family.
I mean, it's like City Spies, which is like a group of orphans that have been,
like some kind of.
I talked about this one.
Yeah,
I talked about this one.
I talked about this one.
We didn't mention what Sweep was about. Oh, you did talk about Night Gardener. Sweep is about a little girl who's a chimney sweep and befriends a golem, a soot monster, basically, and their adventures. And it's set
in Victorian London.
Set in Victorian London. It sounds kind of out there, but it's really wonderful.
It's fabulous. My kids loved it too.
And this also works for a title with more than 5 words or 5 and more words too. So you could knock a couple off the list here.
Yep.
This one's also World War II, and it's 3 orphans that get evacuated out, and they're trying to find a family.
Yeah.
And end up befriending a librarian. It's wonderful.
This one is a girl and her father living in a school bus journeying around the United States. She has a desire to go back to her hometown. Her dad doesn't really want to go there, and she kind of manipulates things to get back there, but she has a very good reason for wanting to go there. It's fabulous, and have a box of tissues ready for the ending.
Yeah. Ooh, Krista recommended for 5 words, insignificant events in the life of a cactus. I read that last year, and it is so good. It is about a girl that doesn't have any arms.
Okay.
And
oh my gosh, I'm writing this one down.
Boy who has Tourette's syndrome.
Nice.
And so she was adopted, and her parents are moving her from her school that she's grown up in her whole life. All of her peers know her. They know that she eats her lunch with her feet, like, whatever. And they move her to Phoenix or to Arizona, somewhere in Arizona, and she has to start over, and she's in middle school. And like, if you can only imagine walking in and eating your lunch with your feet and everybody looking at you like you're disgusting,
Yes.
And so, but it's really cool because it talks a lot about how she does different things without arms. And so for me, that part of the book was fascinating. But then on top of that, she befriends this kid with Tourette's syndrome. And it talks a lot about that and the criticism, whatever bullying that he goes through because of that. And it's so good.
I have that one somewhere.
Oh, good, Cheryl. I'm so glad.
Someone said this one, Roll of Thunder, May Cry. Very good book set in the South and during the height of the civil rights movement, family trying to navigate, teaching their kids to be strong and stand up for what's right, but also be safe which is a really tricky line that they had to walk. But it has some humor as well. It's so good.
And a very lovable family.
Very lovable family. I learned that it's book 4 in the series. Well, I did not know that.
Well, but you know what? She wrote it first.
Yeah.
It's the first one that she wrote, so I feel like it's okay to just read on its own without reading the other ones first.
And I saw this one is in the comments as well. The incredible, extremely inconvenient adventures of Bronte Meadowstone by Jacqueline Moriarty. A young girl finds out her parents have been killed by pirates. She's not sure she believes them. She wants to go try to track them down, but first she has to deliver these gifts to all of her aunts around this little world where they live. And there's strange creatures and strange situations, and it's quirky and delightful, and I loved it so much.
What is it called? The
Extremely Inconvenient Adventures of Bronte Meadowstone.
I'm writing that one down too.
It's very good. My last one on my pile for 5, I mean, I have so many more, but I just wanted to include a nonfiction for those who prefer nonfiction. This is The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind, and it's set in, Malawi in Africa, in a tiny village, and this boy just learns how to build a windmill to help his village be able to have electricity. And it's such a cool story. And I really enjoyed that one. So that's for those of you
Isn't there like a Netflix movie or something about that one too?
There might be an adaptation. I'm not sure. I never saw any adaptation. I never watched one, but I loved the book.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I have one called Each Little Bird That Sings by Deborah Wiles.
That might be on my TBR.
Might be on my TBR too.
It's a lovely story about a girl named Comfort Snowburger. I always love the names of characters in middle grade books. Comfort Snowburger and her family owns she grew up in a funeral home. She's always been around death. But in this book, she has to deal with grief for basically the first time in her life. And it's about that journey that she goes on. And it's just lovely.
Oh, yay. If you like historical fiction, might I suggest this book that nobody's ever heard of and nobody's ever read besides me? I know Krista owns it. She bought it because I recommended it, but I also have not read it yet.
I think I also bought it at your recommendation, Krista, or Amanda.
Everything Else in the Universe by Tracy Holzer. This is set during the Vietnam War, and it is about a girl whose dad is medically drafted. So he was a surgeon, and he got drafted to be a medic, and loses an arm, which then destroys his medical career or ends his medical career. And so it's all about her grieving, like her family grieving her dad's loss, but he's also going through some really bad depression and PTSD. And so it's about that. And she finds a friend, and it's so good. So good. Love it. Another one that I love that would fit this, Macy McMillan and the Rainbow Goddess. I know you guys both read this because I recommended it. It's by Sherry Green. Might I also recommend following Sherry Green on Instagram because she does poetry, like just short little poetry things in her stories that are breathtaking. They are so beautiful. And this is about a deaf girl whose mom, it's just her and her mom's getting remarried. And so they're moving, and she's really upset. And her mom has her go next door and help an elderly neighbor pack her house because she's getting ready to move into assisted living. And so it's about this little deaf girl and this elderly neighbor. And it's so good. It's written in verse. It's a very, very quick read, but it's definitely one of those that it's just so beautifully written. I love this book so much. Those are mine. The other ones I haven't actually read yet. So I
have a couple more. Yeah, these are one. Well, this one is one I've read and loved, and it's an older book, and I don't hear many people talk about it, but I loved it when I read it. Al Capone Does My Shirts. Al Capone Does My Shirts. Yeah, 5 words. Every time I look at it, I'm like, is that 4 words? No, it's 5 words. It's by Jennifer Choldenko, and it is also historical fiction. It takes place in 1935 on Alcatraz, and it's about the little boy is named Moose Flanagan, another funny name. Moose Flanagan and his family. His father has become a prison guard on the island, and so it's about his family living on the island with all of the convicts, and also his sister. He has a lot of love for his sister, who I'm pretty sure has some cognitive impairments, but I can't really remember that part. It's just like a part of the book that I'm having trouble remembering now. But anyway, I loved it. The writing in this is really delightful. And then another one that I haven't read yet, but I really want to, and it got a Newbery Honor a few years ago, is Scary Stories for Young Foxes.
I love that cover.
Isn't it?
I don't know if I would love the book, but I love the cover.
I am so excited to read it, but I never have. Maybe I should put this on my TBR. I might. This will be an extra. Yeah.
Shalice, I don't know. Sorry. I saw your question about the book, if it is written for deaf people or if it is about a deaf person. And honestly, I can't speak to that because I read it last spring and I don't remember. So I'm sorry. I would rather say I don't know than tell you the wrong thing. But it's beautiful. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I'm looking at my shelves and I'm like, Where the Red Fern Grows has 5 words.
Oh, I want to read Katie McNeil's The Boy at the Back of the Class. I want to read that so bad.
I've never heard of that one.
I haven't either. What is that one about?
That I believe is about like a Middle Eastern refugee in England, maybe. Going to school and like sitting at the back of the class sort of thing. And I believe, I may be wrong.
Well, that would work for an Asian main character then too.
Possibly, yeah.
And the Book Wanderers. I think here it's just called Book Wanderers, the first one. But Anna, the Pages and Co.
Oh, yeah.
Copy is called Tilly and the Book Wanderers. That would fit for a 5-word title.
Here, what is it? The boy.
Oh, To Be a Girl in the World. Is that the one that's about a cult? I want to read a Kayla Carter book.
See, come on. I'm reading this. Okay.
Yeah, what is How to Be a Girl in the World?
Yes, it's a Syrian. Sorry. I'm in my own head.
This one, I think it's about a girl who gets kind of rescued from a cult, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Lizzie, let me know if I'm wrong about that.
I have not read Where the Red Fern Grows since I was in elementary school, but I remember as a kid, I was wrecked by it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I just read the synopsis for The Boy in the Back of the Class. It's about a Syrian refugee who like doesn't smile and doesn't talk much. And then his class finds out that he fled a very real war and was separated from his family. And so a determined group of his classmates band together to concoct an idea to reunite him with his loved ones.
Oh, wow.
Like, purchase. Like, I will probably be buying that.
I wrote that down on my list here.
Oh my goodness, that sounds so good.
This is the one that's about a cult, My Life with the Liars. So I'm not sure what that other Kayla Carter one is. How to Be a Girl in the World. I'm not sure about that one. Her book, My Life with the Liars, also has 5 words in the title, and that would be the cult one.
I might be spending some money tonight, guys.
I know, me too.
I stopped writing things down. I just stopped. I'm like, I can't. I already have so many middle grade. I'm so determined to just read from my shelves this
I have way more middle grade on my shelves than I do adult or YA.
Anything else? I know, because every year before middle grade March, I just am like, click, 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 click. I'm buying all of these books.
Well, I just find it so much easier. That's not even a word, but yeah, it is. Whatever. To cover buy middle grade books because like the titles and I'm like, oh, it's really short. And middle grade books are cheaper than adult or YA books by like $10. So even if you buy it brand new, you're spending $12 compared to like maybe 25 to 30 for an adult brand new release. And so it's just like,
Well, since that one talks about an Asian main character, should we continue on with those?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, in Asia or Asian main character. So Middle East counts. It's part of Asia. So it could be Middle East, it could be India, it could be the big like China, Japan, Thailand, all of those count for Asia. The islands, the Philippines, Indonesia. I mean, there's so many.
There's so many
countries in Asia. So I have, oh my goodness, I have so many good ones. My favorite read from last year was Other Words for Home. And this is another series.
This is one of the only ones that I have that I've read to recommend.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful. It's a book in verse, so it's not a long, it's not going to take you very long. But the audiobook is fabulous. And my preferred way to read books in verse is along with the book, like read it in print while I'm listening. Because I like
my favorite way. I totally agree with that. I love listening to them.
I like to see how the poetry is written while listening to it. But if you have a hard time with poetry, go ahead and just listen. But someone else just said too, which I also really enjoyed, The Night Diary by Vera Hiranandani. This is about a family who lives, it's about when India and Pakistan split. And there's a family who lives on the one side, but because of their religion and race, they have to move into the other side. And I can't remember the exact details of it, but it just was really well done. I liked that a lot. And it's written journal entries. This one is written journal.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I brought that one up. I haven't read it, but I did bring it up to recommend.
I haven't read it either, and I also had it on my pile.
It's so good.
A lot of comments about front desk in the comments. Front desk.
I brought that also, even though I haven't read it yet.
I've read it. It was fantastic.
It was really good. I've read that one as well.
Here's one that I have read, The Vanderbeekers.
So good.
They're half Asian. Their mom, I think, is she Korean? Their mom is Korean?
I don't remember.
I totally
forgot about that.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, I'm glad you're recommending that because I forgot to include that in the 5 words in the title or more.
It's 5 words in the title, Asian main character.
Contemporary.
Yep. Contemporary. You can check 3 off the list with this one book. Yeah. And it's delightful.
It's very good. The whole series. Oh man. I think they keep getting better, that series.
Front Desk author is Kelly Yang. Sorry, Skeleton Key asked who the author of Front Desk was. I'm pretty sure it's Kelly Yang, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kelly Yang.
Yeah.
Okay. I have Green Glass House. The main character in Green Glass House is Asian, and he's adopted. Not that, whatever. But this is a mystery. Sorry. This is a mystery about Green Glass House and this kid that lives there. And it's what is it? A smuggler's inn or something like that. And it's Christmas holidays, and he thinks he's just going to have a break. Nobody's going to be there. But then all these people start showing up, and something's off. And so him and the cook or the chef's daughter or something like that decide they're going to solve this mystery as to why all these people are there. So it was fun. It was a fun little book. And then the other one that I had that I just read is Orange for the Sunsets. This is actually set in Uganda, but it's following 2 kids, Yosefu and Asha. Asha is Indian, so of Indian descent. And it's set in 1972, and it has to do with their president in 1972 expelled all of the Indians from the country and said basically you have 90 days to get out. And so it's about them being friends and both of their perspectives on this event, basically. So it was fantastic.
Another author that I have loved, I saw that in the comments too, but this is Tana Lai, and she's Vietnamese, and this is a story of a Vietnamese immigrant to the United States. She lived the first 10 years of her life in Saigon, and she misses home a lot. And so the struggles of coming to America. And apparently I love refugee stories written in verse because this is also written in verse, but she does have other ones that are not written in verse. I haven't read them yet, but she's an author that I would recommend for sure.
Did you listen to the audiobook of that one, Krista?
I don't remember.
I did.
Did you? Is the audiobook good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I own that one, but I love listening to books in verse on audio.
I love listening specifically to books in verse about other cultures in audio, because then all the names and places are pronounced correctly, and I'm not going, how do you say this as I'm reading it?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I might try to listen, because I try to listen to some some of them
Yeah.
on audio over the month. This one was mentioned in the comments. I haven't read this one yet, but this one, the Newbery, was it last year? Yeah. When You Trap a Tiger by Ty Keller. I don't even remember what this one's about, but I remember when it sounds very magic realism.
Yeah.
Magic realism. It reminds me of an adult book that I read a couple years ago that I can't remember, but
Night Tiger. Was it Night Tiger?
Yes, it reminds me of the child.
I bet it was Night Tiger.
Yes. Did you guys read Night Tiger?
I DNF'd it.
Oh, you DNF'd it. Okay.
I read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't, like, the synopsis of this sort of sounds like
kind of. Yeah.
like
So like, what's her name? What's the main character's name?
Lily and her family.
So they go live with a grandmother who's ill, and the grandmother starts telling her these Korean folk tales, and one of the like recurring themes is this tiger, and so Lily starts to see this magical tiger and then starts to discover some family secrets, in particular about her grandmother. So she and the tiger have to uncover all the family secrets. So
You've read it.
No, I haven't. It's on my TBR, so I just talked about it earlier today.
Okay.
I read it. I read it.
Okay.
When to Trap Tiger? Yeah.
Okay.
I've heard some mixed things. I've heard some people didn't really care for it, and then other people really loved it. So.
It just depends on how much you like magical realism, and I think it just clicks with some people, and not with so much with others. Like it was okay for me. It wasn't my favorite. Like this year's was.
So good. But another one that has some folktales. This one has Chinese folktales in it, Where the Mountain Meets the Moon by Grace Lin. This is fantastic. It also is a little bit on the fantasy side of things because there's like a dragon, and the little girl goes in search of the man in the moon to ask one question. She's allowed to ask one question. She's trying to help her mother to be happy. Ultimately, that's what so she's on this quest to help her mother find happiness. But it's very good. Very good. And some really cool illustrations in this one as well. I love it. And she has like 2 or 3 other books as well that I would love to read. I saw people talk about Kira Kira, which is a Newbery winner from a couple of years ago. This has Asian main characters, sisters, real strong sister bond. These guys are from Japan. And like they live in a Japanese community in Iowa, of all places. Like Iowa. I don't know if I've read a book that happens in Iowa, except this one. And then someone else mentioned a Single Shard, which is also a Newbery winner.
Oh, that's one that I'd like to read at some point.
Is that Linda Sue Park also?
This is Linda Sue Park. Same as Prairie Lotus.
Prairie Lotus.
Prairie Lotus.
Yep. Somebody mentioned in the comments Prairie Lotus. The other one that I haven't read, but I do have on my shelves is A Place to Belong by Cynthia Kadohata. I saw somebody else mention another Weed Flower, I think, by her. Is that the same person by Cynthia Kadohata?
Yeah.
Anyway, this one is set after World War II ends, and it's about 12-year-old Hanako. Oh my goodness. And I want to say, yeah, she's Japanese, and they are basically forced to move from America back to Japan. I think, like, basically she feels like she doesn't have a home because she doesn't feel American. She doesn't feel Japanese. Nobody wants her. And so I believe it's about that. But that's another one that I've had on my shelves, but have not read yet.
This is one that I also haven't read, but it just sounds amazing. And I love the cover. This is called Brother's Keeper by Julie Lee.
That one.
Oh,
And
cool.
this is about, this is North Korea, 1950, 12-year-old Sora Pak and her family live there. And I think that her and her brother escape from North Korea into South Korea. So it's their journey. And it gets really good blurbs on the back.
Nice.
So
I've heard somebody read that one recently. I can't remember who it was, but it was in the same video as Under the Broken Sky. I know that. If you're in the comments, let me know who it is. But yeah, somebody had read that one both and Under a Broken Sky, which is about World War II also.
Yeah, this one's not World War II.
No, but the World War II, and I have it upstairs, but it's like China and Japan, like Russia. It's like whatever. I don't remember. Sorry.
What did you remember what they said about it?
No, I don't. I remember it sounding really good, and I'm always fascinated by anything having to do with North Korea.
I know, me too. That's
And
why I got
so,
this.
yeah,
It sounds so good.
it sounds really good.
Yeah. And isn't that cover just beautiful?
It is
So
very-
pretty.
It's gorgeous.
I just
Um,
wanted to put this up here for those who are looking for more fantasy genre Asian characters. The Rick Riordan Presents books. I do think that there are a few. Arusha, someone mentioned. I haven't read any of them, but if you're looking for something along those lines, that might be a good place to look. And I can totally relate to this comment. I was just sitting here thinking as we're like talking about all these books, and books are like flying in the comments. I'm like, I love it. I love all I feel you. I feel you, Monica.
Somebody else also recommended They Called Us Enemy by George Takei. That is so incredibly good. It's a graphic novel memoir of his family's time in an internment camp during World War II. And it is one of the best like internment camp stories that I've ever read. So good.
Nice.
Daughter of the Mountains. I've never even heard of that one. And it was a Newbery?
Maybe a I don't
Honor?
know. Maybe an honor book. I don't recognize the name.
Krista would know.
I have my list right here. Daughter of the Mountains. I think it might be an honor book.
Okay.
Which I'm not collecting those, and I don't have a list. So
You would be collecting a lot of books if you were collecting
Yeah, I
honors.
was going to say.
it would be way too much.
The internment camp book was They Called Us Enemy by George Takei. He's the actor that played in Star Trek.
Yeah, it must be an honor book because I don't see it on this list.
I love how you're like, just let me just pull out my list.
Got to keep track.
All right, should we go to?
I just want
Very-
to say that I love that we had so many, and you guys in the comments added so many more, because I was kind of thinking when we made the list of prompts that might be the hardest one to find. And then I started looking at my shelves. I'm like, it's not as hard as I thought, but yeah, that's cool. That
I realized that I have a lot on my TBR and not a lot that I've already read.
Same.
And
Same.
that makes me glad that we made the prompt because I think it's important to read.
Sure.
And obviously I'm interested in them.
Yeah,
They're
same.
on my TBR, but I haven't read a lot of them. And so
Same.
I'm excited to knock some of these off and actually read them.
Nice.
Same.
All right, Amanda, we have two left. Older Than Us and
Let's do contemporary.
what should we do next?
Let's do contemporaries next. And I'm going to start with Wish Tree.
Oh,
It is fan-freaking-tastic. I read this out loud to my kids, and I might have cried while I was reading it out loud to my kids because it is amazing. It is told from the point of view of this tree. It's a red oak tree, and there are these two houses that live under its branches, and one of the houses is I think it's like a refugee family or like an immigrant family, and there's racism. And the wish tree, like every May, everybody hangs their wishes in its branches, and then people start like writing not nice things on it, and it's just a whole thing. It is so good.
and
It
it's
is
really
so good.
little, so you really could read it in an evening. It's because there's a lot of illustration. It's a little book, but
There's not a lot of words on the pages. There's a lot of illustrations, like a possum playing dead. That was an unfortunate. It's so beautiful.
It
it's
is
a
lovely.
It's a huggable book for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Next one, Out of My Mind by Sharon Draper. This
Which I
book,
finally read.
which Krista just finally read, it is so unbelievably good. The only reason I picked it up 2 years ago, I think, for middle grade March. And the only reason I read it was because my daughter's teacher was reading it to her in class. And I always ask, like, what are your teachers reading to you? And I try to read what I can. Sometimes I read them, sometimes I don't. But this one I wanted to. But this is about a girl with cerebral palsy, I believe. And so she can't talk. She's in a wheelchair. She can't really communicate. And everybody thinks she's stupid. everybody thinks she's dumb, and she's not. She's brilliant, but she's trapped inside her brain because she can't communicate. And so she's finally given this like tablet thing where she can finally start talking through this tablet and showing everybody how smart she really is. And it's so good. The sequel just came out. I want to read the sequel so bad because it's about her going to camp, which I just think is the most fun. Like, kids going to camp, it will always get me on board, always. So, out of my mind. So good. All right, let's see. Haven't read those two. I just finished this one. It was so good. I didn't know if I was going to like it, to be honest. It was so good. This is about, what is her name? Alba, who gets sent to live with her like estranged grandma in Barcelona. Her parents are having issues. Her mom, and she like starts acting out, and her mom like puts her on a plane to live with her grandma in Barcelona. She doesn't speak Spanish. She doesn't know anything about anything. And so she starts like running away there, and she like ends up on the back steps of this bakery, and the baker kind of takes her under his wing and teaches her how to bake bread. And she finds a love for baking bread and just kind of finds her place there with friends that accept her for her. And it's a really, really good book. So this is another one. And then one that I don't have that I always love recommending to people like my age is The Best Worst Summer. I don't remember who it's by now. Elizabeth Eulberg, I believe. And it is about this girl who basically has to move away from all her friends. She thinks she's going to have the worst summer ever. And her dad makes her like go out back to do some yard work. And she finds a time capsule buried in her like backyard. And she digs it up, and she finds some like remnants from another friendship. Then like one of the notes said like, I'm so sorry that I had to do this, or I'm sorry, it should have never been this way, or something along those lines. So she's now on this task to find out who these kids were that put this thing together. And so you're getting flashbacks to this other summer in the 1990s, which is perfection because you get New Kids on the Block and mixtapes, and they're like sitting at the, stereo waiting to hit record on their mixtapes, and pagers, and, all this stuff. And so you're getting the flashbacks to all this 90s nostalgia and what's going on in that summer with the time capsule and all of that. And then also the modern day, like what's going on. So and I loved that book so much. So anyway, those were mine.
I'm going to recommend The Three Rancheros by Kate DiCamillo. Yep, starting with Raimi Nightingale.
That's the only one I own. I need to get the other ones.
I own all of them, although Raimi is packed in a box, and one of the other ones might be on my TBR because I haven't read the third. So, but so wonderful, classic Kate, amazing friendship. It's called The Three Rancheros because that's what this group of young girls, the friends. It's about friendship, and it's wonderful.
It's really nice.
It is so good.
Somebody in the comments mentioned A Kind of Spark, which I read. It was on my favorites of last year. It is fantastic. Highly recommend, especially if you have an autistic kid in your life. That book will be life-changing for you. So it's about an autistic girl.
Oh, you talked about I need to read that. I need to write that down. So I mentioned Vanderbeekers. That's a contemporary along the same lines as if you've read Vanderbeekers and you're like, I want to read something kind of like the Vanderbeekers, then you need to read the Penderwicks, which is a contemporary that feels like a classic.
Yeah.
So I love the Penderwicks so much. They're some of my favorites.
I think along the sweet lines, like A Kind of Paradise by Amy Markatan is set in a library, like total, like lovely vibes. Young girl kind of does something stupid and has to do some community service and learns about the power of community in a library, and that libraries are more than just checking out books. And it's just really, really lovely. I have a couple that are not quite as lovely, but I have Fighting Words by Kimberly Brubaker Bradley. She's the same author as The War That Saved My Life.
That book is so good.
High-end middle grade, like definitely wouldn't put it in the hands of a young middle grader. I actually
transitional.
Wouldn't put it in the hands of an older middle grader unless I had read it first or was reading along with them, because it deals with some heavy duty topics It involves two sisters who get placed into foster care because their stepfather or mom's boyfriend sexually abuses them. So, or attempts to, or whatever. Like, it's just a bad situation. And so it deals with a lot of really heavy stuff, foster care, anger, having attempted suicide.
I was going to say attempted suicide.
Really big things for a middle grade novel. But I think, bullying at school as well. Like, I just think that there's some really good conversations that girls that are 13, 14, like, need to be having that are in here. So I think it's important, but I wouldn't just give it to a kid and say, here, go make a fun book. It's definitely not that kind of a read.
No, it's not. Someone asked if we'd read Pony. That's our group pick. So I don't think I think we're all saving it until
us three are anyway. Everybody else.
Everyone else, I guess, can do it whenever they want. We're saving it for the month so that it's fresh in our minds for our book discussion. Yeah.
Somebody else just said Winter House, which does have a little bit that's not contemporary in it, but it is set in a contemporary kind of world. But fun mystery with some word puzzles and stuff. I also included A Monster Calls, even though there is an element to this that's not realistic. Like, what would you, I don't know, folktale-y type. He talks to a tree, but it deals with grief, and it's really good.
Beautiful.
I would still consider it contemporary, even though it has a little elements of other things in there. So good. I think that was my list.
Somebody mentioned Caterpillar Summer and by Gillian McDunn, and that is an amazing book also. I've read that one. It's so good.
What was the one about the girl who's autistic?
A Kind of Spark.
A Kind of Spark, because I wanted to write that down, but I was...
Yep, and it's set in Ireland. I would recommend listening to the audiobook because it's Irish accents. Oh, so good.
I love it. Oh, but I loved the foster mom in Fighting Words. I thought she was exactly what the girls needed. She is not nice and cuddly, but they would not have connected with a nice and cuddly foster mom. I thought she was fabulous. I loved her. You really fought for those girls. But I mean, I see what you're saying, but I loved her.
Yeah.
Property of a Rebel Librarian. I have that on my shelves too. Oh, Kind of Spark is in Scotland, someone said.
Ooh, Roller Girl. Yes. Keisha. I will always. Roller Girl is fantastic.
Yeah, there's so many contemporary.
I know. I'm reading through everybody's comments. Oh, there's so many good ones.
There's so many good ones. It's hard to not talk about the ones on my pile.
I know. I'm like, you could read. Oh wait, I might be reading that. Never mind.
So then the last prompt we have is books that are older than you, and this is going to be different for every person. So I just brought a handful of classic type middle grade.
I did too,
because I feel like most people will be younger than these for the most part. There are a few that are borderline, but
sorry.
So I have The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, fantasy. I would not call Lord of the Rings middle grade, but The Hobbit is technically considered middle grade.
Mm-hmm.
So good. It's so good. Delightful, about a young hobbit who has to go on an adventure to fight the dragon and save the ring and all the things. With some dwarves and wizards and other dangerous experiences. Fun. And another along the same timeline as that one is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, or The Chronicles of Narnia.
Someone over here said Narnia. Yep, Narnia works. I was thinking a lot of Beverly Cleary books work too.
Oh yeah.
Beverly Cleary is not older than me. Some of them.
But who wrote Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing?
I would have to look up some of the Beverly Cleary, but I just grabbed the first of the stack, which was Ramona Quimby, and that was in the 80s. So that's
Ramona Quimby was 80s? Okay. Yeah. But Ellen Tebbets was
some of the older ones.
And I love Ellen Tebbets. That was my favorite one.
That's who I'm thinking of. Judy Blume, Tales of Fourth Grade Nothing. Those books would be older than you.
Nah, I don't think so.
I think so. I'm looking it up.
All I know is I was not allowed to read Judy Blume when I was growing up.
You should read it now.
No, I have no desire. There's too many other good ones. But the other classics I grabbed are Little House on the Prairie, this whole series, Charlotte's Web, if you haven't read Charlotte's Web.
Charlotte's Web.
Classic
Yes.
list, so good. And actually, E.B. White also has Stuart Little and The Trumpet of the Swan, both of which were all written, I believe, in the 50s or 60s. I can't remember. The Swiss Family Robinson is a wonderful classic. And Winnie the Pooh. So just like...
Oh, I almost pulled Winnie the Pooh.
I have a
72.
classic that I'm going to read that you're just going to have to wait to find out which classic I'm going to read for this prompt because I'm not mentioning it tonight.
Okay.
Krista, Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing was 1972.
Okay.
So
Good to
you
know.
were born after that.
Yes, I was.
See?
Not much, but a little bit.
But still, it still counts.
So I would think, so one of the things that people could do to figure this out is look at the list of Newbery winners and pick a Newbery from before you were born. So if you don't want to read like a long ago classic,
Right.
then pick a Newbery from, the decade you were born in or the previous decade or whatever.
There's also a list on Goodreads. I forget the exact name of it, but if you just Google like good middle grade books from the 1950s and before, there's a Goodreads list that's called something like that. And it has a whole list of fabulous classic middle grade books.
Can you find a link to that, Krista, and put it in Discord maybe or here?
Yeah, I can do it while we're talking.
I know somebody else already mentioned Anne. This is my fun copy of Anne, not my classic copy
Always
of Anne.
Anne.
But
always
Anne.
Yeah. Oh, here, with illustrations.
Ellen, see, someone else mentioned Ellen Tibbets. It's so good. It's one of those books that I'd actually really love to reread. Ellen Tibbets is probably my favorite.
I think I might have that one maybe. And isn't Rigsby like also Beverly Cleary?
Henry Ribsby. Ribs.
Well, no, there's one that's like just a dog.
Henry Huggins.
Yes,
Henry Huggins and then Henry and Ribsy.
Okay, that's it.
And there's like a whole series of Henry books.
Yeah. The other one I pulled was Secret Garden and Heidi. And I read last year Pinocchio, and it was fantastic. I loved this book so much. So those are my classics.
Yeah, another orphan book that I was thinking of was is Pippi Longstocking, and that would also work for this prompt.
I thought she had a dad.
Well, I guess so, but she lives on her own. She's basically an orphan.
Because I almost grabbed Pippi. I've never read Pippi, but I thought she had a dad.
Do we ever meet her dad though? Does she not? Like, I feel like it might be. I guess I haven't really ever read Pippi either. I only have watched the movies when I was little. Always when I was sick. That's always when I wanted when I was sick was to watch Pippi Longstocking.
That's so funny.
Isn't Pollyanna? Pollyanna's an orphan, isn't she?
Is Pollyanna? She might be.
I don't know, but somebody just mentioned Shel Silverstein, and yes, poetry counts, and yes, Shel Silverstein is the end-all be-all of children's poetry for my generation. So please read Shel Silverstein. Thank you. Where the Sidewalk Ends. I have a 3-page poem out of that book that I can quote word for word to this day. So there you go. Ickle me, pickle me, tickle me too. Went for a ride in a flying shoe. Hooray, was fun. It's the time we flew, said Ickle me, pickle me, tickle me too.
This was written in 1950, the first one. Well, the first published.
Oh, really? I didn't realize it was that old.
The Noel Streatfeild books are often, I think that...
Yeah, it was 1937. Yeah. I think was ballet shoes.
There's ballet shoes, theater shoes, dancing shoes, and skating shoes.
Circus shoes and party shoes, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
I didn't know about those other ones.
Hardy Boys is like 1928, so I mean, you're looking for some old ones. Oh, tennis shoes too.
I saw someone looking for a specific year. Remember, you can do anything that's older than you. It doesn't have to be the year you were born. It can be anything that was written before you were born.
I think last year we did year you were born, didn't we?
Did we do decade you were born?
Oh, decade, I think.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
We just want you reading those classics, friends.
Yeah.
Those older ones. There's a lot of good.
Reflect on where you came from. Oh man.
The Family. I never heard of that. You know what? The other one I mentioned, I don't know when it was written. The Orphan one that I mentioned, The Family Under the Bridge. I feel like that's.
Oh yeah, I have that one. I've never read it, but I own it.
I don't know where it was. It's in my stack here somewhere. I don't know what happened to it.
There's an English. The rail.
Boxcar Children?
No.
No, The Railway Children.
Railway Children.
Yeah.
Classic English children's literature. It's not as popular here in the States, but
I don't know where that book went. That's really weird.
I don't remember who the author of The Railway Children is. But it's one that I've always wanted to read. Oh, Betsy Tacy for sure.
Oh man, come on!
Yeah.
You guys know I live like an hour from the Betsy Tacy house.
When I come visit you,
come visit me, and we'll take a road trip.
Yes.
And go. I wanted to wait until all the restriction, like I could actually go into it because they didn't have it open for a long time.
E. Nesbitt, yes, Railway Children. E. Nesbitt. She also wrote something. All I can think of is the word "it" is in the title. But she's a classic children's English lit. Classic English children's lit. Yeah.
Nesbitt.
Nesbitt. Railway Children. I own Railway Children.
5 children in it.
5 children in it. That's right.
Yeah.
And then there's The Enchanted Castle and 5 children in it and it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a tongue twister. You need a
there's
more than 5 words.
What's that? It's another classic. The Little Unicorn. What is it? I read it a few years ago. I'm not going to remember the title.
What are you talking about?
It's a classic, though. I'm going to look for it. You guys keep reading.
I love it. Well, I thought we would answer this question because it's kind of a fun question. And since we're all on here together.
Oh, sorry. There's another lady here from Mankato, which is where the Betsy Tacy house is.
Oh, fun.
So if we ever go, we'll hook you up.
Yes.
Not
The Last Unicorn by Peter Beagle. This is by a woman.
Little White Horse.
A Little White Horse.
Never heard of that.
People have said it in the comments.
That's what I'm thinking of. The Little White Horse. Yes. By, it's coming to me.
As you Google it, it's coming to you by
Elizabeth Googe.
Google.
The Little White Horse by Elizabeth Googe.
Oh, nice.
That's a lovely whimsical book.
All right. So how do we come up with the prompts?
How do we come up with the prompts?
We wing it.
Oh, this sounds fun. Let's do it. What about this? Well, here's the thing. We tried, since the first year, it was just me and Katie, making it up from a whim, right? We just kind of.
Yeah, that sounds good.
But we wanted, we're very intentional about wanting it to be a broad scope of books that you can pick from.
Yeah.
We also want to have a little bit of a challenge in some of them. So we want some to be super easy and some to maybe be a little bit more of a challenge for those who like a little bit of a challenge.
So we try to have one that's like a specific genre. I know we've done that every year. It's a specific genre.
Yeah.
And we try to have one that encompasses some sort of diversity in some way, shape, or form.
Yep. Good job, Amanda. You're nailing it.
That's all I got.
The third thing we try to do is encourage older books in some way. Mm-hmm. So we've had read an award winner, which will often bring back some older. And this year it's a book that's older than you.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much it. And then we just have a couple fun ones that have to do with the title or the cover
or what it's about. We don't want anything too specific.
Right.
So yeah. Somebody else mentioned Dealing with Dragons, which I have to say is pretty sure that was on the Battle of the Books list when I was in middle school and did Battle of the Books.
How funny.
It is such a fun book. It is so good. I read it last year for middle grade March, I believe.
Yeah, Krista, Ramona the Pest, 1968.
Well, Ramona Quimby, age 8. Maybe this.
That's not the first one. Ramona and Beezus, I think, is the first one.
Oh. I just grabbed the top of. I have a whole stack of Beverly Cleary books, and I just grabbed the top one. I didn't feel like looking through all of them.
Do you have Ellen
Your
Tebbett?
due diligence.
I want someone to read Ellen Tebbett's this year.
I'll
Ellen
do it. I'm on it.
Okay.
I will read Ellen Tebbett's just for you.
I read it either last year or the year before,
I don't even know if I have it.
and I don't have the same nostalgia attached to it. So
I guess, yeah. I mean, I have a lot of
I
nostalgia.
don't think I've ever read it. I read Ramona growing up, but I don't think I ever
It's
read
not
Ellen
as
Tebbett's.
popular. I just remember liking it, and it was my favorite of the Beverly Cleary books that I read.
Adding it to my cart.
Yeah, a lot of Cleary. I'm learning that. Sorry, friends. I just looked at one. I was wrong. Okay, I was wrong.
Well, I was wrong tonight too, Krista. I'm not alone.
I've never been wrong. I don't know what you two are talking about.
I love it.
Oh, man.
You guys were awesome giving recommendations in the comments.
Yes.
No,
My
I'm just like
goodness.
sitting here. How to Train Your Dragon.
I cannot wait to see. Like, I've already seen 1 or 2 TBRs pop up.
I know, me too.
Have you? I haven't gone looking. I'm gonna need to go looking because I love watching everyone's middle grade March TBRs.
There's been a couple recommendations that have
Yep.
popped up,
Yep.
and then just like
I've
a
seen
couple of.
and I've seen a couple
They're
TBRs.
starting. I'm so excited.
That's my favorite time of year. It's so exciting.
It's very cool. I love it.
I can't wait to see your TBR, Kesha.
Mood for good, fun, shorter
Yes,
books.
I
This is
know.
perfect. Yep. Nice.
No. I love how much reading I can get done in March too, because I just
Me
fly
too.
through the books and it's so fun and uplifting. And it's not like, I mean, there are a few books here and there that might be depressing a little bit, but for the most part, it's just so lighthearted and I love it.
I always get through more books too. I usually with my reading adult books, I get through like 4 or 5 books a month, which I know you guys read so much more than me.
No,
But
that's-
in middle grade March, I can read like 9 or 10.
I love it.
I'm thinking 20 is going to be my number this year.
20. That's so much. I can't even imagine. But I love it.
No. Oh, Knitted Fresh Daily. I'm so excited for you to get it too.
Yeah.
I know I've seen a couple of people post that they've gotten their stuff. She says she's excited to get her shirt.
Has anybody heard of these ones? Lizzie or Elizabeth was an orphan. She was in a foster family on a farm. I don't know.
Oh, no.
I don't know.
If anybody knows, be sure to tell Corey.
Molly. She said it's her first year participating and she thinks her brain's going to explode. It's my fourth year participating, and I also think my brain's going to explode. So
Every year, my brain's going to explode.
Every year my brain explodes.
There's just so
in a
many
good way.
There's so many good books to read and not enough time in the month.
Not enough. Oh, Elizabeth Gale. Here we go. Elizabeth Gale. There you go.
See?
So fun.
Telling ya. By Hilda Stahl, Shalise says.
Nice.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that, Jane. That makes my heart so happy.
Yay. I know. I love your bookmarks too. They're so cute.
They're amazing. It's all I want to it's all I want to use now are your bookmarks. I have them in all the books I'm reading. So I can't show them because I'm using them.
I still like, I have a book here that had, oh wait, that's actually a
That's
tag.
a
I still just use random pieces of paper.
I saw
I have like 120 bookmarks sitting in my house. I still just use, I have a $10 bill in a book upstairs because it was sitting there and I was like, I need something. One of my friends came over. They're like, oh, look at you using money for bookmarks. Like, you know, I figured when I finish the book, I can have the money then.
Oh no. I'll post the Discord link again.
BookTube Christmas, yay! It is
Ambi,
fun to
yes, I have read Amelia Bedelia. My daughter's name's Amelia, and I call her Amelia Bedelia. It's funny because when we named her Amelia, my family said, "Oh, like Amelia Bedelia," and my husband's family said, "Oh, like Amelia Earhart." And I was like, "And there you see the difference of our families." Oh, I love Amelia Bedelia. I haven't read the new ones yet. They're like early reader, early chapter books or whatever now.
Mrs. Pigglewiggle too. Do you guys like Mrs.
Oh yeah, and Mary Poppins would be a good one, an older one.
I haven't read Amelia Bedelia.
I would call her
as a
an
kid.
early reader.
Early,
Yeah.
I would say more early reader, like chapter
She's early
books.
reader. The merch will be available through the end of March.
And we will be doing the giveaway drawings on Tuesday or Wednesday, and we'll I guess we could post it with our TBRs on Thursday, like announce it.
Yeah.
I mean, we can announce it on Instagram.
We will tag you in your. We will respond to your comment in the
Right.
original video or Instagram post.
Yes.
If you win via Instagram, we will DM you on Instagram. But we can also mention it in our videos on Thursday.
I could just put a little clip at the end and add it. Winners are. Blah, blah, blah.
So all of our TBRs will be going up on Thursday. So
yes.
set your reminders. Click the notification bell.
Make sure you're subscribed to all three of us.
Yes.
Oh man, because all of our TBRs will be going up on Thursday, which means I should probably make a TBR.
I know. I have my TBR, but I haven't filmed it yet.
Oh man, I don't even have mine. Like I'm like as we're going tonight, I'm like, oh yeah, add that one to the list.
I know.
I'm sure you have some of the books ready, Amanda.
I have ideas of some of the prompts, but some of the prompts I haven't even thought about at all. Like orphan main character, no clue. Like haven't thought about that one. I've thought about the one older than me, and I've thought about 5 words. And I have one for Asian main character. I have a few for I need to narrow down my contemporary and figure out.
You are the contemporary queen for middle grade.
Yeah, I have a lot. I just need to narrow it down and figure out what's going to make the cut, because I probably could have 20 books that are just contemporary. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm excited.
Oh, me too. Can't wait to start watching TBR videos.
Oh man. Oh, that's dangerous. That's dangerous.
I'm on Book Outlet.
I have spent.
Are there books that we've talked about tonight on Book Outlet?
Oh yeah,
I'm sure some of them.
absolutely. I got everything else in the universe from Book Outlet.
Yeah, me too.
I got. Oh, let's see. Which books on here have I gotten from Book Outlet?
You didn't say the length of a string for a 5-word
20
title.
by 7s. Oh yeah. Oh, there went all my books. Oh nope. Nope. They just all fell.
I love it.
I don't know. I got a lot of my books.
It's gonna be a fun month. I'm very excited. So we
Yes.
will have more lives like this.
This is not the only live, friends.
No, we will be chatting about what we're reading and other middle grade related topics and just catch up with everybody. So the first Wednesday is going to be live on Amanda's channel. No, the first one's me. The first Wednesday is me. The second and fourth Wednesdays are on Instagram, on Katie's Instagram. The third Wednesday is on Amanda's. That's confusing, but it's in the description.
It's in the description of all of our things. And if you follow, okay, so we have a new Middle Grade March Instagram account. We haven't mentioned that yet. We have a new account on Instagram that is Middle Grade March, at Middle Grade March. And if you follow that account on Instagram, you will get all of the most recent updated information about Middle Grade March.
Yes.
Very
true.
And maybe if once, so we should do the lives on my channel, but maybe if everyone, like, if we can start, like,
we could do the
on
live
the Middle Grade March channel.
Eventually, I think we
are privy to the groundbreaking information. This is how we roll. It's just we're flying by the seat of our pants.
Well, I think
making it up as we go.
I know. Well, because we said that we'll do it on my channel, I think we should, at least for the first, because people are still trickling in and finding the Middle Grade March. So I don't think it's like.
But maybe the second
Somebody else also asked if we were going to be doing a read-in again this year. And that has not been decided definitively, yes. So stay tuned for information on that.
We
However,
just forgot. We forgot.
But I do lives every other weekend, so we can just make the weekend that I do a live our read-in.
Mhm.
Oh, there you go. That'd be
Yeah.
fun.
Sprints.
Oh, see, Krista, I'm telling you guys, this is how we roll. We're just on the fly.
And someone else just asked the pony discussions. The 5th Wednesday will be back
The very
here
last,
on my channel.
On Krista's channel, and it'll be just like this. So it'll go like this.
Yeah, there will be 4 that'll be chatty just about whatever. And then the last one will be a book discussion. So we'll talk about all the things. Plot and characters.
Ambi Crafts reads, no, we have not ever thought about going live on Discord because none of the 3 of us are extremely Discord proficient.
Yeah.
And honestly, we don't get a lot of traffic on Discord comparatively to the other 2 platforms. So we've not honestly ever really considered that.
What I love about Discord is it allows all of you readers to connect with each other.
Yes.
So it's not dependent on the 3 of us to lead the live or whatever. It's for you guys to connect with each other and to connect with other people that might be reading the same book as you, maybe set up buddy reads. Like it's all just to connect people a little bit more on a day-to-day basis. Like you could check it every single day. There are people already in there talking about ideas and what like people having problems coming up with, not problems, but like trying to come up with their TBRs and stuff. There's already people in there talking. Discord is like a chat channel. It's like an app.
Yeah, it's like a chat server kind of. Keisha, yes, she's doing it. It's coming. She's asking about it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
It's being edited as we speak.
It's I'm receiving videos, and I actually haven't finished asking for videos, so I'm still working on that all.
Yes. And then Kathleen, all of the lives will be saved. So whoever's channel it's on, will have it saved, so you can go back and rewatch it if you miss it.
My channel, my YouTube channel is Life Between Words, and it's the same on Instagram. You probably don't follow me because I've been very sporadic posting on YouTube. I have wonderful intentions and terrible follow through.
But she's also very busy because she's starting a publishing house. And
yes,
so
I am. I'm starting
a lot going on in her life.
Owl's Nest Publishers. You can follow me on Instagram. I'm just going to give a little plug.
I have the first book coming out soon.
Yep.
She's renovating a house and she has kids at home and she's just like, she's got a lot on her plate. So
yeah, I'm pulled in many directions. So, but I do have, I am doing Middle Grade March on YouTube, and I do have my favorites of 2021 that I still haven't posted.
But I love that Middle Grade March like pulls you out of the darkness for a while.
She's like, oh man, I gotta remember how to do
It's true. It's true. It pulls me out of the darkness. Yes, it pulls me back into YouTube. I just get sucked back in.
So funny.
No, man. And then I think Krista might do this too, but I also like periodically I will just do a YouTube search of Middle Grade March, and any like TBRs or recommendations videos that I find will get added to a playlist on my channel. So if you guys are looking specifically for Middle Grade March content, I think Krista might do this too, but you can go, maybe not, but you can just go to our channel and look at our playlists, and like I will have a Middle Grade March 2022 playlist that will have stuff from all over YouTube on it.
That's so smart, Amanda. Maybe I'll try and do that. I have my own Middle Grade March playlist of all the Middle Grade March videos that I've ever done, but I've never done that. That's so smart.
So I'll just put playlist.
The title of our first Owl's Nest book is called Son of the Deep. It releases on March 15th. It's a retelling of The Little Mermaid, but it's gender bent. So the mermaid is actually a merman. I didn't write it, but it is wonderful.
That's very cool. Yay. I think
we should see now in hindsight, we should have made one of our prompts specifically for your book.
Oh,
like read a book about a merman.
The only book that will fit it. It's like
there's no ulterior motive here at all.
technically it's like a teen. I mean, middle graders could read it, but it's technically a teen book. But anyway.
I just love you and I want everybody to read.
Oh,
I know it's not your book, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Part of my endeavor.
I love it.
Oh, I love it. Oh. And also, if you guys haven't already, we still have sweatshirts, t-shirts, mugs, bookmarks, all for sale. So any of if you go to our announcement videos, the links are in our announcement video descriptions. All of our Instagram accounts have them linked, and the Middle Grade March Instagram account, if you click on the link in the bio, you will get all the information. So just wanted to kind of plug that again if you're interested in any merch stuffs. I think that might be it, guys.
There's the bonfire.
Oh, there you go, Krista.
There you go.
Did you make a link, Krista, to that one Goodreads group you were talking about?
Yep. It's in there. It's in the comments.
Okay.
So you'll just have to go back on the rewatch.
Yep. I'm gonna have there it is. I see it.
I'm getting Amanda's real quick here too. Hold on.
Oh, thanks.
That's Discord link.
Favorite shops.
How did Middle Grade March come about? Oh, there you go. Katie, Krista.
Katie mentioned it on a channel one time.
Yeah, I wanted to. I have always loved middle grade, and I wanted to start a readathon, a Middle Grade March readathon. I don't know that I called it Middle Grade March at the time.
No.
Maybe no, I don't. Yeah, I don't remember that. But I was like, does anyone want to host a middle grade readathon with me?
And in seconds, I was like, pick me.
Yeah, and Krista was like, I do. And so that
tribute.
was born. Yeah, that was how our baby was born.
And I loved because our first book was The Girl
Who Drank the Moon.
But our second book, I don't remember choosing The Girl Who Drank the Moon. I don't remember how we chose that. But I do remember when we first started talking about year 2, what book we were going to do. In that first conversation, you're like, I'm thinking about this book. And I immediately showed you the screenshot that I had just taken of Sweep. Like we were on the same wavelength immediately for that one too.
Well, that's like this year. One of us mentioned it and everybody's like, yep, done. Like, because we all want to read it.
Which makes me really excited because those first 2 years were definitely our best, I think, books that we've chosen. And so the fact that we were on the same wavelength for this book, does it bode well? I hope so.
Hopefully.
Crossing our fingers.
I know.
I mean, it can't be as bad as About a Boy, right? Or whatever that one was.
Yeah, that was
The Book of Boy.
That one. I never read that one.
It's okay.
Because everybody was like, this sucks. I'm like, well, I'll skip. I'm not going to read that one.
I was so sad about that because it was so highly recommended to me by a bunch of librarians. So I was like, why did they not understand that this is not a great book? It's okay. Everybody has different reading tastes. It's okay.
I know not every book. I mean, even the books we chose for those. I mean, Krista and I both loved the first 2 books that we chose, but there's always a few people that don't like the books that we.
I wasn't a huge fan of The Girl Who Drank the Moon.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Not my jam.
Which is one of my all-time favorites in the whole world. I love it so much.
But like Sweep,
I've reread it. I've read it like a million times.
Yeah, Sweep was the first year I participated, and I was obsessed with that book. Like obsessed.
Also, another one of my favorite all-time books. I mean, that's the thing. Those first 2 books are like some all-time favorites of mine. So,
good night, Maria.
Yeah.
Good night, Maria.
I'm excited. I think it's going to be a fabulous year.
Yeah,
all around. We have. I think we just keep adding wonderful things, like adding our Instagram and merch this year, adding lives on YouTube last year, and like we just keep adding and making it more wonderful and more wonderful. So good.
Yep. But anyway,
I think that is it, everybody. Be sure to check out the Discord. The link is in the description, or not in the description. I will put it in the description as well. Hopefully it will last. But we look forward to talking with you again once March hits. and look forward to our TBRs. And feel free to search Middle Grade March, hashtag Middle Grade March. Follow it on Instagram. Follow our new Instagram page at Middle Grade March.
And if you post anything on Instagram, tag us because we'll repost it. We're
Yeah.
excited.
We'll try to get permission from you first, but yes, we would love to repost.
We'll reshare your stuff and like share it with everybody else and spread the love. And we're so excited for that.
Yeah.
We love all the excitement. It gets me even more excited. Like I'm already excited, but to see everybody else's excitement gets
I know.
Oh yeah, me too. I get so pumped. Snowball. I just start vibrating.
I know. I can't believe it's coming.
So soon.
It's like next week.
Yeah.
Right?
Next week.
Am I off?
Next week.
We've got 10 days. Yeah. Oh, 8 days? Oh no.
8 days.
We've got a week.
8 days? No, surely not. Isn't it the 20th today? We've got 10
today's
days.
the 20th.
Right? So
today's the 20th.
It's,
so
February. It's February. Days. No, 8 days.
February. 8 days.
You're right. There's not 30 days in February. What was I thinking?
All I know is I got to get on this collab video because I need to ask more people, and I'm not giving them very much time now. Oh man, I better do that.
Come on, Krista. Get your stuff together.
I have some already in. Some people have already sent me their clips. I just haven't asked enough people yet, so I need to get on that. I try to do different people every year. I try not to have the same faces recommending books, so I try to branch out, and so that takes time.
that does take time.
So it's good.
So exciting.
I love it. Thank you,
Shirley.
All right, awesome. That's going to be it. And yeah, I would say 2008 is contemporary, MB. That's fine.
Yes.
It's close enough.
Yeah.
It's not historical, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's not contemporary. Yet. Historical has a different feel. If it feels contemporary, it's contemporary. Yep. I don't know. That's so nebulous.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Oh, Jordan update for those who are wondering. Brother Jordan is still in the hospital. He's still in the ICU, but hopefully tomorrow being moved into an intermediate room, which is like not quite on a regular floor, but not quite the ICU. It's like in the middle. He is making good progress, and we are very thrilled. He still has a ways to go, but we're very happy about where he's at, where he's going. So thank you for asking, Debbie. All right. That's all. We love you guys, and we thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you for adding your comments and your suggestions and your recommendations.
I know. I have my list of books I need to go purchase before next week.
Me too.
I could not write fast enough, so I just was like, whatever. All right. Love you guys so much.
Love you.
Talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.